Full moon today. It's in Aries, which you probably may not know already. Um, it's a really interesting energy because it's we usually associate the beginning of a new cycle with the new moon. But this full moon, because it's in Aries, it's kind of bringing that like new beginning energy with it as well. Um, and I feel like it's an opportunity for us to kind of check in with our goals and kind of the direction that we're moving in. Um, it's almost like a new chapter, and I think for many people this is actually the start of kind of something new. And it's been coming up a lot in readings, like just new beginnings, starting something new, like in terms of work and just so many things. But I think with Aries, it gives us the like more courage and motivation to kind of follow those things. So it's a very self-focused moon to look at what we want, what's in our heart, what do we really want to do, because obviously we're still under the Libra influence with the Sun in Libra, which is obviously all about this kind of balance. Where are we giving? Where are we taking? Are we taking care of our needs? Are we putting too much energy outwards and ignoring what we need for ourselves? So that's all the topic that we're kind of looking at for this whole period. But I think with Aries, it comes in as in a way where anything that needed balance, where we were maybe a bit afraid to follow it through, but we kind of know we need to do it, or where we're holding back a little bit, and we could maybe just push ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit more just to seize those opportunities. And I think that's what this moon is revealing to us. And it also sparks creativity as well. Aries is like I say, like new beginnings and and it is the beginning of the zodiac wheel. So it is like having new ideas, and I think just tuning into ourselves. What is coming up for us that is based in our own intuition, our own hearts, our own calling, and how can we discern that from the things that we do for in a way, like on an external level, like things like we work, for example, and might put money at the forefront, but are we abandoning ourselves in that process? So looking at it in that kind of way, trying to discern what's really our truth from what's kind of programmed from all the things that we're absorbing. Um, yeah, so it's quite a, I don't know, I've been, from people that I've spoken to, everyone's kind of one way or the other. There's a lot of people that are feeling very empowered and driven by this moon, and then there's people on the other side that are feeling really kind of a bit all over the place and overwhelmed. And I think I mean, it's natural anyway, but yeah, I think full moons can bring that feeling, sense of overwhelm, just because of how much it affects our bodies, our physiology. It's a very powerful thing. So yeah, it kind of in a way it's an opportunity for us to, if we can see, be honest with ourselves and be able to see clearly what information is being provided to us, what our intuition is telling us, and follow that, then we have so much opportunity for success in front of us. And I think that's where we're at right now. Um, and it's really interesting because although it's given that new beginning kind of energy, that also means that there's this kind of shedding as well that happens in that process, which again is kind of in alignment with where we're at, as we move in sort of through autumn. And the other day I pulled the Hermit, which is also really interesting because I feel like part of getting this clarity around what is it that I want to go for, what is it that I want to jump into, is we get that from stepping back from the rest of what's going on in our lives, stepping back from all the external stuff so that we can really hear that truth inside us, because it's so muffled with all the demands that are being put on us externally, and that we put on ourselves, the pressures that we put on ourselves as well. So yeah, it's a very self-reflective, and it's really about honouring ourselves. You know, we do tend to, I think most people do tend to kind of put others first, or maybe don't do things for themselves because they think it's going to have an impact maybe on others, or on other aspects of their own life. And I think naturally at some root level there are fears around change for so many of us. So hopefully, if you can tap into the energy of this moon and regain that sense of courage to kind of just follow what it is you're being called to. Yeah, Mars is Aries ruler, so it's very fiery and powerful if we can use that energy. So yeah, I've definitely felt that in the lead up to this moon, my creativity is kind of heightened, and I've been feeling a lot more certain of things that I'm doing as well. So yeah, that might resonate with some of you. I'm gonna pull some cards for us. So let's see what the cards have for us today. Yeah, this is nice. I don't know if you see, this is my light reflecting on it. It's the miracle of nature, which is really kind of in alignment with that, because it's all about how we move through cycles and we work on rhythms. Just like in nature, you know, everything has a process that it moves through just naturally. And I think part of us tuning into that energy is knowing when we need to just be and let things happen and be guided, and where we need to try and force and make things happen. And again, it comes back to that whole Libra idea of balance, and actually even now just tuning into that with the change of the seasons. This is part of nature and also happens within us as well. And it's like this time of year now, I mean, we're in autumn, so it's kind of going inwards and having that reflection. And also when we do that, that's when we start to have more realizations, which is why with this full moon particularly, it's like things coming up about what we want to really do for ourselves, like I was saying. But also that sometimes, just like I was saying about taking a step back from the external to get that clarity, sometimes that is in nature where we can really just kind of disconnect and reconnect really with those natural rhythms and cycles. And often that just gives a sense of ease for where we're at as well. So yeah, I think as well in terms of the Hermit coming up the other day, which is in alignment with this energy, but this miracle of nature is kind of like, yes, follow that feeling of being in hermit mode, but maybe just don't always do it at home. Maybe be alone in nature sometimes too. Because I think there is that danger, especially where it's like maybe getting colder as well, and it's less appealing maybe to be outside as much. So just making sure that we're still getting that fresh air and taking that from nature as well. So let's see, draw some tarot. interesting because the Two of Cups and the Six of Pentacles come up, which is also about this kind of balance, especially and justice as well. So there's like so much Libra energy in this reading. It's like, how do we create balance through how we relate to others? How can we work with others to bring a sense of fairness and balance into our lives? So a lot of this is about communicating our own needs and values in spaces that they need to be communicated. I think often there's stuff that we can't just do on our own, and we do need to connect with others who can guide and support us with that. And I think that's what's needed now, like this kind of sense of connection as well. To share the load in a way. Like, I think sometimes trying too much to do things on your own is where we become burnt out and stuff like that as well. So it's a lot to do with our level of control as well. This is another thing that's coming up, is about how maybe like the reflection side of things, and looking at how much are we trying to control the outcomes and experiences that we're having, and where can we maybe like ease up on that a little bit? Where can we maybe shift that need to control to maybe just surrendering a little bit more to what's happening? Because I feel that some of you are, some things just didn't work before. Some things just didn't go right, and this is always puts a kind of a weight on us of more fears around failing and stuff as well. So it's like, if we like keep control of everything, then it can't go wrong. But actually, sometimes that is the problem, that we're trying too much to control it. And I think it's also a message about, although things maybe didn't work previously, or maybe you've tried to do things in the past and it hasn't worked out the way you wanted to, you can't let that prevent you from trying something new or stepping into whatever it is that you're feeling drawn to do right now. And that comes back to this idea of courage, which is, as I say, a very Aries kind of quality. And it's about having that courage to say, you know what, I'm just going to try again. I'm going to try and do this thing. Because there's only so long we can keep looking at the past, but we can't change it, we can't change it. We can't do anything differently in the past, but we can choose right now how we approach things. We can make different choices right now about what we do, how we respond to others, how we react to anything in our lives, our experiences, people, all of these things. So it's just a cool really to look at that and look at where maybe where am I not doing something because of something that happened in the past, and is it because I don't want to do it, or is it because I'm afraid of failing or afraid of not achieving what I set out to achieve? And this comes back to this idea of self-worth again, because it's like knowing the value of yourself and your work and just what you have to give to the world, really. And just remembering that that's enough. I think this need for things to be fair and just is obviously really prominent with Libra. And there may be things that come up now that sort of bring that to the surface, bring those feelings to the surface, why did that not work for me, and why have they got that, and why haven't I got that? And these are things that are natural points of kind of reflection in a way. But it's also being able to disconnect from that and remember that our path is our path, and it doesn't look the same as anyone else's, but it's going to look exactly how it needs to for us. So I guess it's about giving justice to ourselves in a way, where we honour and value what it is that we need to do, and step away from this need to constantly either give to others or, put so much of our energy out that we don't have enough left to honour what we need. This kind of sense of needing to honour the self is something that I feel really strongly under this moon as well. And it is like Nine of Pentacles. It is literally about healing that part of ourselves that believes that we don't deserve to have the thing that we want. The part of us that believes, it's not okay to treat ourselves or just give ourselves whatever we want. We feel guilty for that. We carry shame around just enjoying what we've worked hard to actually achieve. So this is what, it links so well to this Aries moon. It's like, what do you really want to do? Have the courage to follow that. And there's a lot of there's a three of swords as well. So it's like this healing process that also is there, healing our relationship to wealth in a way, wealth and just whatever kind of that means to us, having everything that we need, security, in just joy as well. Another thing about Aries is that kind of childlike quality of just connecting to joy and doing things because we enjoy them, not because we have to do them. So it's like, maybe there's some more creative endeavour that's maybe you've been like, maybe I want to do that, but actually haven't actually ever, gone for it. And maybe that comes up now, and maybe it's just a starting process of something to think about for the future. Because work does come up here, and I think for a lot of you, you've worked really hard to get where you are. So at what point are you going to allow yourself to enjoy that? Because all the time you're concentrating on controlling outcomes and not letting things go wrong, you're not enjoying yourself. And where is the justice in that? So the balance is restored through that self-honour and saying, you know what, I deserve this, and you know what, I can do this. And just that belief in the self. Yeah, and there is success. This is the other thing, because if anyone's sort of contemplating that next step, that new chapter, that new journey, there is success there. That's all you need to know. It's about believing in yourself. That courage, the Queen of Swords, like, she has courage. She takes her wounds, her pain, and she transforms that into a power to push forwards, to get what she needs done. And I feel like that is just speaks the energy of this moon, really. So I'm gonna stop there with the reading. I hope that messages for whoever needed them was getting them then as well. So the last thing I was gonna say, I'm not gonna do this while we're on the live, just because you probably want more time to kind of sit with it. But just taking a little time to maybe meditate and reflect on where am I holding back? What is something that I've wanted to do, but I've maybe self-sabotaged or created other reasons why I can't do it, or being blocked for other reasons, just what is lying beneath the surface that ignites that fire of creativity, of drive, passion. What is it that you need to do to kind of tap into that? Because I think that's where our power and like our empowerment and self-worth really increases, because we are then honouring those things that we really, really believe in and are, are our real truths. So just maybe reflecting on that a little bit, maybe a bit of journaling around those things. And if there are ideas that you have right now or things that you've been wanting to do, look at them and think really what's the baby steps towards that? What's the next thing that I could do that puts me in that right direction? I think we can often look at things as such a big thing. It's like, oh my God, I won't be able to do that. But there's always little steps we can take each day that take us a little bit further towards those goals. So yeah, any self-worth practices, self-love practices, really key as well right now. And like I say, just maybe taking a little bit of time out to be in nature, sit with any feelings that are coming up. Like I say, I've spoken to a few people that have been quite overwhelmed with this moon, so being in nature can really, really help with that and help to sort of compartmentalize the different feelings and emotions and things that are coming up as well. And noticing what fears are being held around any of those things. So any callings or passions or things that you want to do, what fears do I hold around these? And maybe going into a bit of a meditation on that to see what comes up. Because once we identify those things, that awareness alone is enough for us to know, okay, here's somewhere I can start to work on pushing past this barrier. It's a very self-empowering moon. I think maybe we'll just take a few minutes to just have a short meditation, just breathe in and just taking a moment to kind of absorb maybe the reading, the information that I've shared, and seeing what may come up for you as well in terms of this moon. And also for me to share some gratitude to you guys for being here and sharing this space with me. I love being able to do this as well, so thank you. So you can also place your hand onto your solar plexus, which is the root of our personal power and that kind of fiery energy. And just take some deep breaths and send love to that place. Thank you so much for joining me. The last thing I want to share is, which I forgot to say, me being a numerology nerd, the numerology of this moon is 7, which is also about expansion, spiritual connection, heightened intuition. So please trust anything that's coming up, any signs, synchronicities, messages. It's about trusting that, and I guess part of that being in nature and taking that time out from other external demands is where we have space to really connect to that intuitive voice inside as well. Just another thought to take with you. I'm gonna end the session there, sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will speak to you soon.